Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining. I think what I should first do is just look at my hair and see if anything crazy is going on, because it's very frustrating when I edit a video and I'm like, the hair. Not like the hair is the focal point of my videos or anything, but sometimes I'm looking back and I'm like, we're here, and I'm ready to talk about a full face that centers around a new multitasking palette. Guys, when I saw the new Cali Ray palette on Sephora, I had to jump, okay? I had to go for this. I love a good multitasking palette. This one really intrigued me. It's got the makings of eyeshadow, blush, highlight. If you really wanted to, I think you could multitask these as like bronzer and contour, but the size, the compact nature of those shades makes it a little bit tricky in that sense. The whole palette's gonna be $48. Already I can see on Sephora's website there are 91 reviews, and I guess it's averaging at 5 stars. In the little amount of time I've been playing with this, one really kind of impressive slash unexpected thing with this is the staying power. The blush wearing all day, the eyeshadows looking flawless and staying true to color all day. That's been a really cool aspect. It's called the Endless Sunset Face and Eyeshadow Talc-Free Palette, and on the back of it, it tells you, what everything can be used for. The fact that blush, the one that looked like a pure blush, could be a blush and transition shadow. We have shades that could be highlighters or eyeshadows. All over shades, it says. Those darker two are called lift and transition shades, or define and smolder. There's a little QR code back here where you can scan it and get the look. But yeah, it's a clean, talc-free, multi-purpose palette. It's in a sustainable bamboo compact. Whenever we see these full face palettes, I mean, we talk about it with Milani and just various brands that come out with these, we have to stop and think, is this truly like usable for everyone? Would all parts of this be really good for a tan or rich skin tone as well? And while I think there's a ton of pigment in this blush, I don't know, maybe it would be nice to have just an all-around deeper version where you get some deeper colors over here that would provide more contrast in the crease, and maybe a blushy shade that's a little bit richer. That might be a nice consideration, but maybe they're just kind of like floating this out there and seeing how it goes. But the textures are really nice. I've had good staying power. This shade here, it's called Use Me Wet, and I actually literally did use it wet the other day as eyeshadow, and it's fine like that. I'm not sure that I would go to that measure on a daily basis. Like, I'm gonna really dampen my brush and get it wet. Really, what that shade is great as is a blush topper. It gives a really pretty glow on top of the cheeks over that shade. It doesn't have quite as much glow as the highlighter does. It has that pinky pigment, so I kind of prefer it on the cheeks as opposed to eyes. I like the little magnetic closure that it has, but I don't love this. There's a little indent right in here in the top, and they've put a pretty little sunset sky. Yes, I like a sunset sky, but I also like mirrors. And especially with something that seems so multitasking, so travel friendly, a mirror would have been really nice in this one, I feel. There are a lot of times when I'm just picking it up and using it and I'm, thinking there should be a mirror in here. But really, that's kind of my biggest critique about it. And the content of the stuff is, I think, really good, and you're gonna see it going on today. I don't have anything on my skin yet. I just thought I'd go through a full face. In terms of other things I love from Cali Ray, the main one is the Come Hell or High Water mascara. I've tried a good eyeliner. I have these glow boosting drops with it, which I thought I might just play with today. It says shake it and smooth directly onto skin. You can mix it in with other things, but it's kind of like a bronzy, very, very liquidy thin deal. Like, look at this, running down my face. But look, ultra thin and lightweight. Has kind of like a dry oil feel. And smells amazing. Did you want that running directly into the cavern of your eye? Not really, but we can blend. Oh, it feels really smooth and nice. So yeah, I had amazing staying power with this look the other day. My foundation stayed well and all the underneath stuff, but just the intensity of the colors on my face and the look on the eyes, I was like, wow. Maybe Cali Ray isn't just a fun and cutesy brand. They do a heck of a mascara, but I guess I wasn't sure quite what to expect out of this, and it was good. But first things first, we're gonna get some coverage on. I'm using my CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear today. This is in natural beige. This stuff wears really well, and I love the coverage too. So I'm pumping out pretty much full pump, and we're just going to dab this around. I do have a little more glow on my skin from those glow boosting drops. I would say they do less than the Drunk Elephant drops in terms of actually giving your skin color. But yeah, we love the Red Cap family of products from CoverGirl. They are so good. I was wearing this foundation actually yesterday, And I was wearing it also with the red cap concealer, which is no slouch. All up on the under eye area, not looking too thick, not looking too cakey, but really covering stuff up. I have woken up tired. I need to get to bed a little bit sooner. Bub and I are drifting a little bit late with the bedtimes. And if I'm gonna wake up so early, I gotta make sure my bedtime's in check. Usually I get to bed around 9, but we've just been a little later than that. Now, how pretty is that? Beautiful even coverage. It does have a little more glow under it when you use those glow boosting drops, though. That now I'm really seeing that, because typically this foundation doesn't give you quite that much glow. I need a Kleenex. I'll be right back. Next up, we're moving on to the Extreme Wear Concealer, 24-hour full coverage, the whole bit. Ivory is the shade I have in this. So we're just gonna pop this on our under eye and anywhere else where we need it. Just a small amount here, okay? I'm not using a bunch. It's potent. And we're gonna get around there, out here, around the nosy, and here. And I'm gonna do a little spreading it out action. This, I just feel, makes your concealer go further and apply more evenly. So we got it on the skin, but now we're just making it patch over some broader areas. And frankly, I think this is part of what helps my concealer wear better throughout the day. A really even application. And then look, we're just going in with the sponge. If you happen to be using a sponge that day, or you can use the big side of this brush and just kind of tamp over it. Do we have a friend in the background? Yes, we do. You see her back there? I see you. See, I feel like that made a ton of difference on the under eye. Then I'm gonna set my under eye with some loose powder. I feel like using my Laura Mercier Ultra Blur. This is just the shade Translucent. This is her talc-free powder. I love this powder. I think this is even better than the OG Laura Mercier. And pick up some of that on my triangle puff. And we're gonna apply it pretty generously, and then we'll kick off any excess, but this ends up looking real nice on the under eye. Sometimes you're in the mood for a light makeup look, sometimes you're in the mood for coverage. That's the beautiful thing about makeup. Just do what you feel on a given day. There's not just one way to do your makeup. This is my Morphe under eye bullet brush. We're just gonna usher some of that product away. So nice and smooth, doll skin vibes, okay? And then final powder thing I'm gonna do to complete my red cap trifecta, or really this is like red pan. This is the Outlast Extreme Wear powder. This wears well as powder foundation, but I also can use it lightly, like over the look, over the rest of the skin, for really even, really great staying power. So this I wear in the shade Creamy Natural. And yeah, it is pretty matte, so know that. For our bronzer and contour steps, like I said, it's in here, but these just feel more like eyeshadow to me, okay? Just their intensity and their placement here, the size of the pans. I just don't see myself realistically going to this palette and thinking, oh, I'm gonna dip into contour. If they would have made it like one solid shade, maybe I'd be more likely to jump at it, but I just don't feel like using that as my contour. I'm gonna use my Hard Candy Face Off. This is the Luminous Gel Bronzer in the shade Sweet Tea. That will be my color that'll blend in today. I love this stuff. I love the wand applicator. Give me the wand applicator any day of the week over that crazy little, little puffy tip. Even people who, love the product, you'll hear them complain about that tip. And I've had it too, and they can get a little messy, So this is gorgeous. I love the shade. I have the deeper shade as well, which is called Chocolate Drip, but I feel like this Sweet Tea color is absolutely perfect. And it blends so easily. So Milani has that little Conceal and Perfect liquid contour or whatever, and that one's good too. The shade Ginger, I really like it. But again, it's that puffy tip format, which really gets messy around the cap. So if I've got the option, I'm reaching for this for sure. These are so good, guys. Great find. Those might be like the find of the spring. Now look, got a little dimension. It didn't break anything down underneath. A couple things keep coming up in my TikTok feed. One of them is people wrapping ice cream in fruit roll-ups, and the fruit roll-up turns to something crunchy, and they take a bite and it's all like crispy. I've got that. And then I've got people making water, like fixing their water. They've got their nice little jug or container, and they're gonna sit down and they're gonna tell you what kind of sugar-free flavorings they're gonna be putting in it. And I'm just like, wow. I watch them with such admiration. Like that's so creative, you know? They put in a certain kind of pop and then they add a flavor to it. It's just great. It's funny. Okay. We're gonna go to this palette now. Another thing that kind of gets me, this only opens so far, which really isn't a huge deal. I've gotten to where I really like palettes to open up flat and then I hold it so it's flat. Small detail. We are gonna go to this beautiful blush, which reminds me so much of the Milani Minerals blush in Mai Tai. That was like years ago, guys. That was a gem for many of us. If you were with me, we're talking back in the other house, you know, like those days. Milani Minerals blush in Mai Tai. That's what this reminds me of. Kind of a coral mixed with a little neutral. It's super pigmented and pretty. I'm just applying it with my e.l.f. blush brush here. You can get a lot out of it if you want. And it lasts all day, no touch-ups. This lasted so well. And maybe, you know, I had super hardcore staying power stuff underneath, so it led to a great look all day. I don't know. But it was even misting outside and nothing was affected. And I just think that's pretty, you know? I'm seeing the peach come out on the cheeks a lot, but there's an earthiness to it. It's not a real like 100% pure peach, if you know what I mean. So you just get that placed however you like it. I'm just getting it all over the area we would label as cheek. Because I like blush. Gorgeous. Love. Then guys, I love this. I was just kind of playing around, bouncing around the palette for the first time. And when I did, I went into this shade. This is a little matte color here called Brow Boner, Brow Bone Plus Brightening shade. Okay, this is like the wearable take on that Ben Nye Ultra White powder. Number one, it's pressed. Number two, it like brightens, but it doesn't go too far. Look what I'm gonna do with this. Look. Did anybody see the subtle thing that just took shape right in there on the under eye? Just get a little brush. This is a Real Techniques setting brush. A little added brightness. Okay? I love that there. I mean, I don't know that I would use that as full-on setting powder because I don't really need to. I got a zillion setting powders to just, you know, set my under eye concealer. But to add that little bit of brightness, for sure. Love that. Okay, gonna clean off my brush a little bit. This gorgeous highlight. Stunning. This is the one called Ring Light Highlighter and Spotlight Eyeshadow. This, it's brightening. It does the job. It is not glittery. I know some of you actually will tell me, I like the glittery highlighters. And that's fine. I'm glad we got a diverse audience in terms of highlighter preference, but I like them to just sit on the cheeks and glow and maybe make people not even know where that glow's coming from. Oh, it's pretty, and it's really pretty as an eyeshadow too. So I just kind of take it up. Yeah, we're taking that matte coverage and we are turning it around a little bit, okay? So pretty. The kinds of things that, yeah, you would want to wear on a daily basis, you know, really good. And then the little blush topper shade, okay? That's what I like this for. Can you use it wet on the eyes and get this really like opaque, pinky shifting shade? Yes, it will look more opaque if you want to wear that as shadow and you add a little like Fix Plus to your brush and then go for it. It's like golden pink and pop it over top of the cheek. Can you see how that's actually adding a little something different? This cheek versus this cheek. As I turn a little bit, as I catch the light a little bit, I see a pinky reflectivity that I didn't first have there. And if you wanted that to be a bit more covert, you could just like kind of bounce your brush back and forth between those, right? Love that. Love what it's doing on those face steps. Again, if you really wanted to, you could pinpoint a brush in there and probably do a little chiseling with those contour shades. When I look at them, personally, when I look at them, they just make me think eyeshadow, and they do work well as eyeshadow, so that's the way I'm going to use them today. Oh, I am going to do a little setting spray. I'm using my Hard Candy Sheer Envy Longwear setting spray. I like this stuff. Really good. Look at that skin. Oh, so happy with it. Then we're going to do brows. I'm going to use my Kosas Brow Pop today. I'm going to just brush through them first, see where the land lays, and do a little fill in. I think part of why I like the idea of the flavored water is because it kind of scratches that sweet tooth itch a little bit, you know, especially in the evening time, the post-dinner time, and you're thinking, gosh, I'd like a little bite of something sweet, but I'm really trying not to eat anything after dinner. You can fix yourself up, you know, a nice little fizzy, no-calorie drink, and it's like, well, that felt like something. One of the neatest things I learned about are I think it's called True Lime. There's True Lemon, I believe, too, and they're packets of like little crystallized lime, and it adds such a flavor punch to any other just random flavor you've got going on in your water. Like, I see different people with all these sugar-free flavoring packets, but this is like 100% pure lime. And I was thinking, what about just a little stevia in there and the pure lime? That's what I'm going to try today, because artificial sweeteners can be, you know, kind of an issue too, so you may want to check if you're getting big into this yourself. I always have stevia around here because I have stevia in my coffee, and I think I'm going to try a stevia and pure lime water sometime. So I've got the brows filled in. That's the Brow Pop in the shade dark brown, I believe. Yeah, and I love this so much because it's square shaped, so it's really, really easy to hold and control. And then I also have the Air Brow Gel, which is, I think, the less essential part of the Kosas brow line. Like, it's nice, dark brown again. It's really creamy. I don't think it has as much hold as some other things I've talked about, like even the Hard Candy Teddy Brow stuff, but it does set them to an extent. It kind of adds a little more thickness and fluff. We're going to put on some Milani eyeshadow primer. All these eyeshadow steps wore really well with this underneath the other day. So now we're going to pop into this, and I'm going to show you this shade. This doesn't show up like super fully as a crease color for me, but I'm just going to show you like it shows a little bit. Okay, that's the color called Nudie Judy's all over shade, and it's kind of what I think it's actually best for is sort of blending out the edge of your look, but we're using our Persona double-ended brush here, which is just great for a casual look, and I think you can see a little contrast has been applied there through that shade, but it's a nice kind of ended off color. These are matte, by the way. The shimmers in this palette are really just here and here. Got a little bit of that. We're gonna apply it. It's nice and toasty, a little bit on the warm side. And the thing I like about this brush is that it makes me not just get it in the crease, but really let it come up. Okay, very nice. And then we have a little bit deeper color yet there that we can go into, and maybe we want to focus that just a little bit more on the outside, just like so. Then we can use our flatter side. It's not a completely flat side, but that's okay. And I'm dabbing that same deeper part of the color right there on the outer part of my lid. This amounts to an everyday kind of light shadow look. Look at what I'm doing and think, am I okay with that being as dark as it goes? Because this is as dark as it goes. We can kind of wedge it a little bit more, maybe get a little more look of contrast there, but overall it's soft, natural, everyday. I get where they're going with this. I'm not trying to make it be more than what it is. I can dip back into this shade again and show you what I mean about just softening the edges. Man, that's a great color for that. You really cannot see where things end and begin if you buff your edges with that color right down there. Okay, and then maybe just a little bit of this brightening shade. This was the same color that we dabbed on the under eye, which I will continue to do that. I think that's really cool. And there we go. There's our matte setup. And then I just really like this color on the lid. We could go matte with that. We could go lighter. Oh, you could also dab into your blush and use that as a little bit of a transition-y color, you know, make it look more peachy, more colorful. I'm going to clean off the more flat side of my brush and go into the ring light shade, and it's really pretty like that. And then there's that other shimmer, which, like I said, I prefer as a blush topper, and it doesn't absolutely have to be used wet on the eyes, but if you do, you'll see more of that like kind of pinky shift intensity come out of it. But here we're just getting some of that lightness and shimmer on the lid. I feel like this palette fits a lot of people's vibe right now, especially for eyes. I'm seeing a lot of attention paid to complexion and doing the cream steps and all that jazz. But eyes, it's like people really pride themselves on just sweeping bronzer over the eye and applying mascara. This plays into that more casual eye look, where it looks really finished, but it's soft, you know? I'm going to take a slightly more pinpointed, smaller brush with ring light, just so I can really hit that inner corner. And I wonder what the pure, like, sort of, oh yeah. Do not underestimate what a matte white color can do for inner corner. That's special. Okay, could we take one of these browns and kind of lightly go under the eye? Yes, we can. I'm gonna take my Persona brush and go directly down into it so the product is only getting on the tip of the brush. And then boom. Hitting under eye just softly, okay? This is not a dark, intense color, but we get a little more definition if you look this eye versus this eye. Just let it nudge right up in there next to the lashes. Guys, when I ordered this, I got another kind of interesting multitasker. I noticed Tower 28 put out these pencils, and they're called One Liner Multi-Liner. The box says the only one you need. The most eligible liner is here and wants to make it official, safe for eyes, lips, and face. Okay, so I thought, how would you actually do that? Well, the other day I took this, and the shade I have is called Work of Art. And so what does that look like? You're thinking if it's gonna do all those things, it's probably not gonna be like super rosy. No, it's like a deep nude, okay? And the other day, I mean, I felt so weird doing this, but I took that and I like kind of lined my lower lash line a little bit with it. I thought, okay, maybe that's how it's doing eyes. Like, I don't see this being super defining on my upper lash line that way, but on the lower lash line, it gives me a little something extra. And I thought, how would you use this on the cheeks? Well, I determined that maybe you just draw it on a finger, and do you see it there? And then you just kind of blend it in. I mean, there are so many cream blush products out there these days. I don't know how many people would literally resort to trying to use a pencil that's this skinny. You know, a jumbo stick, maybe we can all kind of wrap our heads around that a little bit more. But anyways, it'll do that. And then of course it can be used on the lips as well. I will use this on my lips today so you can see the color a little bit better, but I just thought that's kind of funny. I am gonna do a half lash today. Yeah, we're taking this natural palette and we're making it a little more on the glam side. So I'm gonna use some liquid liner. This is just my M Cosmetics illustrative liner, and this is Cookie Monster Wet n Wild collection. Check out the video for all the details. I didn't try everything in the Sesame Street collection, but I tried enough. I tried enough to know, I think. And I put this in a comment under the video, but where they missed out was they didn't make Snuffleupagus eyelashes. Snuffy has the most extreme eyelashes. I think they made some Abby eyelashes, which Abby's cute and all, but Snuffy, they should have just given us a big, intense lash. I mean, if I saw Snuffy eyelashes in the store, I don't care how ridiculous they looked, I would buy them. And I would put them on for you guys. Snuffy was kind of overlooked in this collection. Yep, that's the tea. What's the weather gonna do today? I think we're supposed to get a lot of rain as you watch this on Saturday. Okay, we have a flood watch. We're at a 1 on wind threat, tornado threat, and hail threat. Okay. Cloudy skies this morning, followed by thunderstorms during the afternoon. Gusty winds and small hail are possible. Oh, that'll be fun during pickup. Pickup gets chaotic when it rains because kids are out there kind of like waiting in a pickup line. And then you got to try to put all these kids under this relatively small awning while it's raining. So I've got my liner on. And then I'm gonna curl my lashes, and I'm gonna use Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water on top and bottom today. Just, you know, celebrate the brand a little bit. They're a brand that isn't seeming to really rush out the stuff. They do have more products that I haven't tried. Let's pull that up and chat about that. I wanna know what you've tried and what else you would recommend from Cali Ray, because really the only things I've used are the mascara and eyeliner, which was nice. It's just a basic pencil eyeliner. Over the holidays it came with a mascara, the palette of course, and those drops, these glow boosting drops. But they also have, gosh, they got highlighters, they've got a blurring collagen peptide primer, they got like a squeeze tube lip gloss, a setting spray with niacinamide. They've got a skin tint. Has anyone tried their skin tint? Free Dreaming Clean Blurring Skin Tint comes in 10 shades. And they've got a Get Lit Skin and Mood Boosting Supplement for $48. You know, there are days I wouldn't mind boosting my mood and my skin. Of all the things I just mentioned, the things that I haven't used yet that I'd be most interested in possibly looking into would be the skin tint and the Surf Proof Hydrating Setting Spray with niacinamide, and maybe that primer too. They've all got pretty high ratings. That setting spray is averaging out at a 5-star rating. The skin tint is at a 4-star average rating. See, I don't often talk about how good this is just as a general mascara because I'm always reserving it for my lower lashes, but it's really good on the upper lashes too. And it's a tubing mascara. That's a key point. If you haven't seen my videos before, we talk about that a lot, but it can't smudge, okay? So on a day when you're possibly going to go to pickup and going to be hit with rain, wind, and small hail, it'll stay on, come hail or high water. Oh, that's good. The worst thing about spring is the severe weather threat. Severe thunderstorms and all. I love a good, just general garden variety thunderstorm. Give me that all day. When you get into that severe weather, springtime, severe storm season, I don't need that stress in my day. I don't need National Weather Service to be putting the red bullseye on precisely where I live. That happened one time last year. The bullseye could not have been more on us, and thankfully we didn't get a tornado. What am I thinking? I didn't even do the lower lashes. I'm all thrown off. And then I'm gonna do like my little half lash, my little Amazon semi-dramatic half lash. That's what I'm gonna pop on top. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you this crazy little lip liner. Okay, so here's what we did. We added on, this is just a half lash, guys. This is only this much lash, but it's got some length and thickness, and it's just super easy to pop on. So I did that. I added a little more mascara down there on the lower part to feel like I was balancing it out a bit more. And then we're gonna use our Tower 28 multi-liner in Work of Art, so you can see more about this shade. I don't know, should I devote a whole video to this, trying to make it work everywhere, truly? The texture feels very average to me, like not ultra creamy, but not dragging super bad either. I mean, I'm putting this on top of some dry lips. It's doing well enough, especially once it gets a little warmed up. But there's that shade. Work of Art is very nude. There's really not any pink in it at all. I got them fully filled in with that. And then I think I'm going to put a Tower 28 gloss over top. This is one I already had. This is the shade Cashew. Always makes me want some cashews. I love cashews. What's your favorite nut? I love cashews, but I also love pistachios, especially those honey roasted pistachios. Those are like candy. Oh, those are a sweet and salty lover's candy, you know? So this shade, by the way, maybe I should show you. The color is like this. You know, it has a little sheerness, but it's toasty. I love this look. I am loving it. I think you know if this Cali Ray palette is your vibe or not. You know, if you like an eye that amounts to something like that, that's just kind of, you know, barely contoured, but not a lot. And then you also have some blush and highlight options in here. If that's your thing, I think you know it. I like the ability to like glam something up with just a little bit of a lash. I'm gonna do a little more blush here. I love this blush. And again, staying power. Who knew that the staying power was going to be so great with this, but it really is. You can see that blush, those highlighters, those eyeshadows. Perfect wear all day. You heard my cons about it. Cons would be no mirror. Cons would be, I don't know if you want to plan on these to be your contour. It depends on how much you want to like kind of squeeze your brush into that. But to me, those are basically eyeshadows. I'll use a separate contour. A fun little surprise is how brightening that can be on the under eye. And the size is nice and it's really cute. The bamboo packaging is precious. So let me know your take on this and any other Cali Ray products in the comments section. Like I said, I don't have the full scope of the brand because I've only really tried a handful of things, but what I have tried has been good. So this palette definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you guys again very soon. I love you. Bye.